This is our 52nd episode of the Perspective podcast. We've been doing this for 52 weeks. 52 weeks. Man. And honestly, what a journey. What a journey. And the journey still continues because we're still doing this even when we're at 104, literally 104, 300, 500, 1,000. That's when it gets serious. That's when we'll be going on tour. But honestly, 52 episodes. That is an achievement itself. And I actually didn't even realize it, that it's the 52nd episode. And to anyone who's watching this, if this is your first episode, my name is Temi, and this is a podcast called the Perspective Podcast, where we see things from different perspectives. It's not easy, but we get it done regardless. I really did not want to film. That's me being transparent. I was just not feeling to film the podcast, to speak. And that's the real truth about filming a podcast. But you have to put on a mask and get this going because you never know who this will impact. And the last thing I want to do is just fake things up. I'll be vulnerable and honest. Yeah, I did not want to film. This morning, I had to do a 15K run. And I did not want to do that either. But while doing it, I'm like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. And we did it. We did a 15K run in 1 hour, 30 minutes, which is impressive for a 15K run. Did it on a treadmill because it's been snowing recently. So the pavements outside are not that safe, but it's been raining, so it makes everything a bit better. So we can finally get back the running outside because I'm tired of always running on a treadmill. And on this episode, I'm going to talk about nostalgia since we're going back. Nostalgia can be a lot of things, a lot, good or bad. And in my opinion, I like nostalgia. It's something good to reflect on. I'll always appreciate some form of nostalgia, whether it comes to music, films, or just anything, a smell even. Like those type of nostalgias really set you back in life. And yeah, I was at the gym today and I was listening to an album that I always would listen to, which I still do sometimes. And that album is Astroworld by Travis Scott. And of course, like, that album is 8 years old, but 8 years is a long time. When that album dropped, I was 15. I'm now 23. But Astroworld just had me in a chokehold. And the gym that I was at was the same gym that I went to when the album first came out. I'd always go to the gym and I'd play the album on repeat. And to be finally back at that gym 8 years later, completely different man, training for a marathon. I'm not the same. I don't even recognize myself. And we're just listening to the album while training. Things, yeah, it's mad how things changed over the past few years, but yeah, it's mental and it's bittersweet. I was either 15 or 14. I think I was 14, just about to turn 15. But either way, no, I was 15. But either way, like, that is ridiculous. Yeah, I was listening to the album and I was just thinking, like, there's so many songs on the album that I just love. My favorite song on the album is Astro Thunder. It's a song that is just, it's too good from start to finish. From start to finish, Astro Thunder is just too good. You can't go wrong with that song. You can't go wrong with that album. And I was listening to Houston Fornication. That song as well deserves more praise because it is a phenomenal song. Everything from his lyricism, and he's not even that much of a lyricist, but he just snapped on that song. He just had to. And then Coffee Bean, of course, Carousel, Stargazing, Stop Trying to Be God. Stop Trying to Be God is an underrated song. And I really like the pre-chorus where it's like, well, they cannot create commandments. Ooh, when you hustle, always make it fancy. It's a phenomenal song. It's amazing. But it really had me going back in memory lane. And yeah, nostalgia will take you back. And I'll be honest, nostalgia is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug because it really will have you going back and forth with things that you used to like or things that were just a part of your life. People, environments, places, just everything. And I feel like if you don't snap back into reality, you'll be too drawn into the nostalgia, which can be a bad thing, especially while growing up, especially in your 20s or just actually no matter what age you are. I think if you're too drawn back to the nostalgia, it will just hold you back instead of looking at the now or looking into the future, because we're we're getting older, things change, and looking back at the past is good, but we've got better things to look forward now, that the past is just the past, and you can't dwell on it, you can't dwell on the good and the bad. And it's crazy because you can say all those things, but it's easier said than done. Like, I'll be honest, I'll still be having phases where I'll just look back at a certain point in my life for an hour or just for a while, but because it's so heavy, I can't not miss it out, that it's just there. I don't know if that's just me, but it resonates with me a lot, especially things that were a big epiphany for me at that time. Like, it was a big realization of where things are going in my life or just what's happening. And moments like that, you can't help but just to look back and just to see how you was thinking and how you was acting, because things will never be the same, and it's just tough, but it's life. And yeah, I feel like, especially with, say for example, you got the 80s, you got the 90s, the 70s, all them years, the nostalgia on that is so heavy, because it really was that period. It was a complete different time, a complete different era, and people that were from that era, they love to look back on that moment. But I'll be that person when I'm in my like 50s or so, when I'll be looking back at my life in my 20s. You know, like 20s is always a year point where it's like everyone talks or, you know, goes about, because that was the year that they were discovering themselves a bit more in this world. Because I'll be honest, I'm 23, but it's like there's so much to discover and to find. There's so much to discover. I don't know a single thing that's going on. Like, I don't have a clue, and the only thing is to just to go on how we're feeling and what works and what doesn't work, because what will work for us may not work for someone else. It's weird, but nostalgia really does have a heavy weight. I try not to go so much back to nostalgia because I don't want to get too caught up in it. You know, time is so precious now that you never know when your last day could be, and it's kind of toxic to think that, but it's real. Like, it really is real. That's why you got the phrase "seize the day." Like, seize it, because honestly, you never know what can actually happen. You never know. And looking back in the past, imagine just like it being your last. I'm not gonna say these things, but you know, you don't want to look back on the past. Me personally, I'm that type of guy that I'm learning through this phase in my life right now that is like, okay, I make a mistake, but sometimes I can make the mistake more than once, and will only know when the pain is very severe. And that may be a bad thing, because really truly, fail and learn fast, because you don't want to go through that again. But sometimes I just get myself back in that situation that I once was, and it's scary, but you know, it's the way we learn in life, I guess. I think we all have different tolerances, but what matters the most is awareness. Nostalgia is a good way to realize how you moved back then and how you should move now, you know? I think it's a good way to have that awareness, but you don't want to be too caught up on nostalgia, because we've got this life now that, you know, things are changing, things are evolving, and we've got to move with it, and we've got to adapt into the new and not too much onto the past. However, I feel like some people can still have that nostalgia that can like carry them, but it just depends on the type of person you are. But we're all different, and nostalgia is dangerous, but it's amazing. It's amazing, especially if it's good for music, but it can get dangerous with music too, because you don't want to be too drawn on like the previous music that you used to listen to. For example, me, I listen to a lot of rap, or I listen to a lot of like my rap from like, you know, just what year was like peak rap music? I don't know, but you know, where we all have that moment where music was just peak. For example, like for Travis Scott, Rodeo, Burrs, you know, Astro, like that whole era. Like I used to get to a point where I used to just cling onto that album. Or Drake, for example, like Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading this, it's too late. Views at that era, like I cling onto it because it's something that I'm just familiar to. But it can get scary, because if you stay too familiar to that one thing, you're closing yourself off from the beauty that you're missing out on. You know, there's so much out here, there's so much to listen to that you don't want to get too drawn onto one thing, and that can be my problem. And hence why we're tapping into all these bands. We're tapping into all these different bands, and I'm grateful for that. You know, it's making me realize that there really is more there's really more to music than just rap, R&B, that there's so many things, and it really is like it just unlocks something in your brain that you're just stepping into something different, stepping into something new. And of course, it's all subjective because my new may not be new to someone, but to me, it feels very new because you're just not used to it. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be on a way that everyone's moving. Like, everyone has their own time or their own path. That's why I do feel like with music, I feel like you shouldn't be doing too much listening to all these different things, like forcing it. Let it come to you. And the best type of way to find new music is when it's just natural. That's one thing I'll forever say. Like, sometimes I purposely will not listen to a new song or something new because it's just not my time yet. You know, I don't want to force it. I want to listen to new music, bro. It will come to me in that timing, and you shouldn't force it because there's nothing better than actually like finding you. I don't know if that makes sense, but hey, it's real. Going back to nostalgia, I've been listening to Queen and David Bowie, and it's been a segment on my TikTok where I've just been tapping into artists that I'm not really familiar with. And I'll be honest, I did not know a single song of David Bowie. Had no clue, because it was weird how that even came up. I was just on my laptop, and my laptop does this thing where it shows events on different days, and it just had to be David Bowie's birthday, and it showed that. I was like, oh, it's his birthday, cool, let me tap into his music. So because of that, because of my laptop, that's the reason why we made that video. So shout out to my laptop, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have done it. I would not have filmed it because I've never heard his music. But then while filming, the first song was Under Pressure, and I had no clue that was Queen and David Bowie. I thought it was just David Bowie. And then when I posted it, everyone was like, for that to be your first song to listen to, I don't think that's a good one because it's mainly the Queen. And I had no clue. Like, let me be. I did not know, but now I know. Now I do know. And there's another one that has Queen in it, but I did not realize that Queen and David Bowie were they were gang. They were basically gang because they do some features together, and yeah, it's actually kind of sick. But yeah, I tapped into David Bowie, and I like his music. I like how freeing he is to just say whatever and do whatever he wants to do, because nothing really matters. And it's mad because I'm reading this book called The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, and it's on about the different seducers in the world, right? There is one called the dandy, and the dandy is the one that plays with the masculine and the feminine side. And I genuinely do believe that David Bowie is that guy, because he can play with literally both, and to the point that you'll think, is he, is he on that other side, or is he on, you know what I mean? Like, you just will not know. And that's what makes him so unique, because it's like, you never know. And that's probably why he had such a big fan base, because it's very familiar, especially to a woman or to a man. I don't know. Yeah, cool. But yeah, he's definitely the dandy. But yeah, I tapped into his music and I like it. I think it's cool. I wouldn't really listen to his music as much, but I can appreciate it. As well as Queen. Their music are sick. And especially when it comes to their production is flawless. Their production is slick. And especially the vocalist, whoever the lead singer is, I did some research, but I've already forgot his name. But shout out to him, because he's a good singer, and his songwriting too, especially the song Somebody to Love. It's so crazy because, of course, tapped into their music. And then yesterday I went to the cinema, and when I was watching the trailers or adverts, both of their songs, Under Pressure and Somebody to Love, were playing. And I was just like, it's like they knew that I was going to be here, because I just tapped into their music and now they're just playing in the cinema. But if I didn't tap into the music, I would have heard it anyway and wouldn't have thought anything of it. So does it really change anything? No, it just shows how much of a classic it is. That's how weird I think sometimes, like when I go to different environments or different places and I notice something, or I hear something that is very significant to the way my life is right now, I'll be thinking, yo, it's like I was made to be here. Because imagine if I didn't go to the cinema, and imagine if I didn't tap into them, I would have been going on about my day. But yeah, it's crazy how that happens. I know I'm just waffling, but this is just like, yo, this is where I talk my shit, where I talk my real shit. David Bowie and Queen. I like their music. They've got a diverse catalogue, and they have a heavy catalogue with so many songs and albums. And it makes me realize that artists now are not really like that. They really like to take their time. But when it comes to them taking their time, they'll release an album that has more songs. Back then, David Bowie or Queen were only releasing 10 or 11 songs on their album. Just 10 or 11 songs on an album. And now, to the point that when an artist, for example, Dave, puts 10 songs on an album, we complain. Like, it's mental, but back then, that used to be the norm. So, and now I'm thinking, you know what? Quality over quantity to the max. Because a lot of artists love to bombard their album with like 24, 30 songs. For example, I was on Spotify, right? And Zach Bryan has released his album. Bro, there's like so many songs on the album. Especially another one who does that is Morgan Wallen and Chris Brown. They're the type of artists that love to put so many songs on the album. And I get it. Streaming, you get a lot of, you don't even get a lot of money, but you know, it all accumulates, I guess. But it's just like, I think it's best to work backwards when it comes to albums, because when you do that and you have 10 songs or 11 songs, when someone sees that, they'll be thinking, sweet, I can listen to that in full without having to like listen to it one time and then listen to it again. If the album is good, which it probably will be, the replay value on the album will be heavy. Like, that's what people don't think about, but you know, labels and all those things get ran down because, and I hear it, but damn, like, can't be doing that, mate. Like, you know what I mean? You can't always be the long track list, like make it short and sweet. But yeah, anyway, Queen and David Bowie, they always have 10 to 11 songs on the album. And David Bowie was the type of artist that was releasing an album every single year. And with every new year, it was a different era. It was a complete different era. And it's sick to see how he's able to adapt into new things very quickly, because not a lot of artists can do that. Not a lot can do that. I think most artists usually stay with their era and just the way that they move, and they don't really change the way that they're perceived. The one artist that I think is good at doing that is a Playboi Carti or The Weeknd, or who else is good at like changing the era. I was gonna say Bruno Mars, but he always stays with a similar type of vibe, so I'll keep him like that. I think, yeah, those are the ones that I'll remember for now, like the Playboi Cartis and The Weeknds when it comes to different eras. I don't know how people film podcasts here without their lips getting dry. Like, my lips get so dry mid-filming to the point that I'm looking back at the footage, I'm like, woof, who is this man? Their eras would be different every year, and it's actually interesting because not a lot of artists do that, but it's nice to see that, you know, he's changing, and it's nice to see that an artist can change between different eras and years and make it seem effortless, because not a lot of artists can do that. My favorite David Bowie song that I've heard so far, I really like Let's Dance, and I know that is also more of like a Queen song, but it's catchy. And I also really like Heroes. I think that one is goated, but yeah, those ones, top tier. It's nice to see that the art of bands and people actually appreciate different music, because it's timeless and it really is what people are liking with music now, and there's not a lot of that we really should tap into that stuff now, because it's sick. Obviously it's not for everyone, and that's okay, but I don't know, there's a cult behind it. There really is, and I never really understood it or realized it until posting them TikTok videos about it, because there really is like a strong fan base behind it. There really is, and it's like, damn, it really makes rap and all these, like, all different genres seem small, because really and truly they probably are. These different genres like rock or indie or alternate, like that is bigger than majority of all these genres, and it's facts. When you are caught up in a bubble, you think that one is bigger, but nah, it is not. But yeah, back to nostalgia. Nostalgia is crazy. Smell is a ridiculous thing. Like you go to different places, and if you smell something, you will just like remember a time in your life, or it will bring you back to something. For me, it always brings back memories on my primary school days, or it will remind me back to the way that my primary school used to smell, or just little things like that, or the canteen, like just little things. I don't know why, but a lot of it goes back to primary school, like just the way things used to smell. I love music, right? And when it comes to that, I also love watching live performances. I was on the treadmill today at the gym, and I was just, again, I was listening to Astro, but I was thinking about his live performances. And I think live performances are so interesting to see because you really never understand what someone's going through while they're performing. But that could be their best performance without you even realizing that they're having like a horror day. But they put all that energy into that show so that the people can leave with that experience that like, damn, they just witnessed greatness. And honestly, I'm here for it because, well, I love watching live performances. That's probably why I've gone to so many concerts, because there's no better feeling than watching an artist perform. There's no better feeling. I think it's very entertaining. You're literally entering that person's mind and what he or she, what they created in terms of what they want with the stage set out to be, with the visuals. Of course, you got the bad, but then you have the good, and it outweighs its things a lot of the time, depending on who you see. And I'm still yet to see like a proper. Actually, I was gonna say I haven't really seen a band or rock band or like a popular indie alternate whatever, and I think I have. Not even I think, I know I have. Catfish and Bottom, I've seen them perform, and I've seen Arctic Monkeys. So you could say that I've got a good portfolio with the people that I've seen. Got a major decent portfolio, and it's crazy because at that time when I saw them, I was like, who are these people? Obviously, I've heard of Arctic Monkeys. I was like, you know what, open mind, let's go and see what it's saying. But then it got to like Catfish on the Bottom, and I'm thinking, who are these? Like, I had no clue. And now we're in 2026, and I've got their music in my liked songs. Like, it's mental how things should change. But hey, shout out to Arctic Monkeys and shout out to them, especially Radiohead. I really like Radiohead. I think their music is sick. You can't go wrong with a good live performance. It really will have you in a trance just watching them. And then you realize that these guys are just normal people. They're just normal people going about their day. And we're just like sitting there, standing or dancing to their music that they created. That they're, it's weird, but at the same time, I enjoy it. I love watching artists perform at shows or just to watch live performances on YouTube. It's good to get some research because you'll be able to see who is a true performer, like who really enjoys to perform to get their show off, or who's just doing it for the sake of doing it. I do feel like artists like Beyonce, bro, she's in a whole different league. When it comes to her performance, she's got the dancing, she's got the choreography, she's got the visuals, she's got everything, even the outfits. Like, bro, she's never gonna miss when it comes to her shows, and she may be my favorite performer that I've ever seen because she's just that good. Like, she's really that good. I'll be honest with you, she has these when someone is talking, yeah, and there's like a screen of what the lyrics will be, like she has that when she's performing, which may be a bit odd, but she's performing anyway. But yeah, she's a good performer, and there's just something different when you go to her show. Like, the stage looks different. It doesn't look like anyone else's. It's very different. The way that it's set up, the music is ridiculously loud. Like, it is on par with like Playboi Carti's shows when it comes to his music live. It is really loud. The bass is loud. Your whole body's vibrating. Like, all that water, all that liquid in your body is like vibrating. But it's a good show. Like, it's worth it. I'd recommend for you to go and see Beyonce if you've never gone to see her, because she's a good performer. She's really good. Another performer who's actually really good that I've seen, Kendrick Lamar, of course. The best show that I've seen him perform was in Birmingham for his Mr. Morale tour. His stadium show was good, but I do feel like, I don't know, because of all this like Drake stuff that happened, it threw away the purpose of the actual tour, that I wasn't really as excited. I think I was more excited to see SZA perform because I really enjoyed Lana. Lana is such a good deluxe album. Like, have you heard Scorsese Scorsese baby daddy or something. That one there, ridiculous. It cooks. It had no reason to cook that much, but it just did. It just did. Like, and Crybaby and Chill Baby, those ones there are ridiculous. And No More Hiding, like, wow. I actually want to listen to her music again. I probably will, because her music is phenomenal. And it's been a while since she's actually dropped a proper new different album. But knowing SZA, bro, she's gonna take her time. She is going to take her time, and that's facts. And that's facts. Speaking of SZA, I just remember there's this creator that I used to always watch, and everyone would call her Gutter Bunny. The original Gutter Bunny, like everyone would call her Gutter Bunny, but her username was like I love SZA. I forgot her name, but she'd always like do like lip singing videos to songs that she likes. I can't lie, she is beautiful. Like, she is art. She is actually a beautiful piece of art, but I haven't seen her on my For You page in a while. And yeah, don't you think that's weird that, I don't know, like, don't you think it's weird that we all think that we haven't seen someone on our For You page in a while? Like, how is that person feel? Like, how are they? How are they doing? Because you never know. Like, they may be going through a crisis and we just do not know. And I'm thinking, do people think that about me when I haven't popped up on their For You page? Like, and I probably do feel like a lot of the people who started watching my content when I was doing my top 10 Travis or Drake, they're probably thinking, where is this guy? Because, bro, they're not, I'm not, or I hope they are, but I know they don't listen to all this like David Bowie or Queen. Like, my content has drastically changed from how it used to be. I don't do that top 10 stuff like that no more. So it's like, where have them people gone? And I know that there's them type of people that are like, where is he? Or like, how, you know what I mean? Like, I know that there is people that are thinking that, but hey, Gutter Bunny, I used to watch her stuff all the time. Like, during my day, my day would be a success because she's popped up on my For You page. I may have to start following her, but I think I do follow her. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's happened. My top creators that I'm watching on TikTok recently is Reagan. Reagan, yeah, did that 777 ago. If you don't know Reagan, man. Man, she's a creator that I love to watch because she's so diverse. It has nothing to do with me. Like, she's just this girl content creator living in Dallas or whatever, but just, you know, everything she does is just clean. Like, everything she does is clean. Like, if that may be my guilty pleasure, but she really inspired me in terms of TikTok. She's like the goal of all of this like TikTok stuff. She may be the top of the top. Like, she has that app on a chokehold because every video is never missing. So yeah, Reagan, number one. Number two, I really like Chris Unk, the real Unk. He's the one who just does these like short videos, these aesthetically videos, and he's like him just talk about his day or just how his life is, you know, and everyone calls him Unk, even though he's just like he's just 30 or 31 or something. But yeah, he's in New York and he works his like corporate estate job. I don't know what job it is, but yeah, he's that guy, bro. He really is him. He's tapped into like this rap music and all that stuff, and obviously like you wouldn't expect for him that age to be tapped in, but he's dialed in. So yeah, him, because he's just got a sick vibe and he's funny, and yeah, it's good to get like different perspectives from different people. So I put him and Reagan number two. Number three, I really like watching David London. He's just, yeah, David, he's an athlete. He's an athlete, and he just does his day in the lives. He does his running videos, and you know, like, for someone who's running for a marathon as well, it's nice to see other people running. And my favorite, I really enjoy watching Fem. His content is always fitness, and his brand, You Wasn't There, or NSLB, but his content has been changing quite recently, that he's just talking about his life and just like little things during the day, like just quick impulsive thoughts. So yeah, he's up there. And 5 Foot, I always watch him. He's actually sick, and he's a nice guy as well. So yeah, I put him up there. Fashion, he's always got his fashion content on lock, and Experiment 5 is generational. So yeah, I'd put him there. And if there's anyone else that I like to watch, like Jalen, Jalen Noble, his funny, his content is sick, and Monet. Like it's the irony of them two being a couple and just watching them is funny. Who else do I watch? But just those really, and obviously I got my friends like my friend creators, Sophie. Or you all better follow Sophie and Cornell, both of them. Yeah, if you want to see fashion content, tap into that. And if you want to see just normal food content or just anything that's set apart, that's sick, watch them. I just want to say I hope that you'll open your mind to different things, different music, or just different things to make yourself live better, different way to perceive your life, open your perspective, or see things from a different side of view. Learn, develop, and just change that narrative, because we've always got something to change. While speaking on nostalgia earlier, nostalgia and being familiar to the things that you have now is good, but it's also good to switch things up. Having a little change or switching things to a different way, it makes things better, and you don't want to be too drawn into like the way that your system was. Make it a little bit different and change it. Even though it's a new year, it don't mean anything. Like, just keep going every day and keep your posture high, because there's going to be days where there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations, but what matters is just keeping that spirit and just your energy high. Even when it's low, speaking things to existence and just saying things. And on the topic of that, I watched Mighty Supreme, and it is a really good film. It's a definition of just being embodied in the thing that you live, eat, and sleep, and just the thing that you love. And there's one thing that he said during the film was like, I am uniquely positioned to be the best. That is such a sick thing to say. Like, you are uniquely positioned to be the best, even when things are just going inconveniently wrong. Like, things are just going wrong. Everything is going wrong. Having that faith, or having that, that feeling that, things will be okay, it really keeps things going. And you realize that the thing that is the treasure is right in front of you. Your family, your friends, like all those things are your treasure, not this money stuff. Of course, it's a resource, it's a good tool to get you by, to make sure that your family are straight, but what matters is the foundation. And that is low-key what that film is trying to say, because you could do all these things, but what matters is foundation. And I think it's sick why Timothy tried to target the film to a younger audience, because it's nice to see that, especially for the younger people, to realize, okay, there's more to life than just all this stuff. Like, what matters is your foundation and your woman, or the person that you choose to spend your time with, or your family and friends. Like that is what matters more than anything, because without them you wouldn't be where you are. So you can't do everything by yourself. You need that one person. And when things are going wrong, just keep smiling, because if you're not smiling, bro, you're just going to get a whole lot of shit coming to you without you even realizing. So stay smiling and just keep doing your thing, because things are going to get better. I'm 2 weeks into my marathon training, and it's not easy, but we're getting it done. I'm very grateful that I've stayed consistent with my running for the whole year last year. And before we actually started to do marathon training, we've still been running. And I'm very grateful that we just stayed doing 10Ks, 5Ks, on the side, and now that we're increasing the tempo, like today I did a 15K, and things are just getting more higher in voltage. And with more miles, it means more eating, finding ways to just make sure that our diet or our nutrition, I don't like to say diet, because I don't have a diet, it's just the food that I eat. Like, my nutrition, I want to make sure that my nutrition is top. And by top, we're not eating no McDonald's, no KFC, no junk food, no fast food, none of that junk food, no alcohol. Literally just stripping all of that stuff away. And I can't wait to see how it's going to make an impact into my life, my mental health, my physical health, and the way that I just view life. I feel like when you cleanse yourself from all of those things, it can make a difference, even in the tiniest way. I'm just marathon training, staying consistent while balancing, trying to not get injured. And I had an injury previously, so just finding ways to maintain it by doing a lot of strength training, isometric holds, which it's working. We're still able to do a 15K, and after doing a 15K, we're able to just dance around and jump around and do all that stuff. It's mad that it's the new year, and I've been very disciplined, but my sleep has been changing quite recently. Usually by 10 p.m. I'm gone, like I'm asleep. But recently I've just been staying up a little bit later to just go on my phone, messaging people. Like, I should be asleep. I should be asleep. Sleep is very, very important, especially while marathon training. This may be the most important time to be getting sleep. But yeah, my discipline is falling short, because I'm just like on my phone speaking to people and stuff. Like my love life is not doing much, like not really going on dates. Haven't gone on a date in a while. Yeah, I'm literally just coasting, and it's weird. I like my own presence, but at the same time, sometimes I do think, damn, it would be nice, you know. But again, like I enjoy my presence, especially while you have this goal or this like mission that you're on. You really have to just like focus. But at the same time, I'm kind of against that because I think it can be very boring and bad for your mental health if you do that. But again, I put this goal that I've got to put this first, that it may have to sacrifice with that. And as well with sacrifice, like little habits, like financial habits, I fall into bad financial habits sometimes, and I'm gonna be open about that. I'm not the best, to the point that it's really bad for my mental health. But because again, as I said before, like I go through a lot of failure so many times to the point that I have to go through serious pain for it to actually be like, okay, we need to stop. But yeah, it's like, it's something that I am working on, and that's like a problem of mine. But hey, I just pray that I'm rich so that, but even though if I'm rich, then I'm going to be making these bad problems. So it's good to be aware now, but damn, I'm just tired. Like these financial problems, like living this like check to check life is not it. Like it's really not it. But you know, I got to have these sacrifices. Like I'm telling you, a lot of things in my account are just declining, like my Netflix or my YouTube, not YouTube, Spotify, Google business account, little things like that. But hey, we're still alive. But at the same time, it's not good. It's not good. It's good because it made me focus on what actually needed to be done and the things that you need to take away. But in the moment, it's just not it, because I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It's not nice. This makes me really grateful to have a home, have a loving mother, because if I didn't, boy oh boy, I'd be finished. But yeah, that is what is going on in my life, man. This is all over the place. I'm just very grateful that Perspective is on its year anniversary. We go Paris next week, which is actually interesting. We're taking Perspective to the world. You know, we're bringing that everywhere we go. And from watching Mighty Supreme, I had this fashion inquiry on what to wear, and I know exactly what I'm wearing. So I'm very grateful to watching that film. But yeah, that's everything that's going on in my life, and that's every perspective into one. I pray that you're having an amazing week, and I hope that you go out and get it and don't let anything stop you, because there's going to be days that you may not want to do a lot of things, but you just have to keep going. And I wish nothing but success, victory, and love for you and your family. And don't stop. Like, just keep going. Stay close to God, or stay close to whoever you serve, and just be your best version of yourself, not for anybody but for you. You know, do that little thing and treat yourself. Pat yourself on the back, treat yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve it. Every day is a blessing. And if no one's going to tell you that, I will. You are enough. You are a blessing. You are more than capable. Stay grinding, but as well, have fun. Live your life. Speak to your people and just live. Breathe. Go for a walk and live. See that baddie at the shop, or see that baddie that you see and speak to her. Because I know I won't. But yeah, just honestly, like, enjoy your life, man. We're in January. Before you know it, it's going to be February. So just keep going. And yeah, thank you for tapping into the episode. We've done 52 weeks. I wish I had confetti, but yeah, 52 weeks of the Perspective podcast is insane. And yeah, 52 weeks, man. 52 weeks is insane. But yeah, thank you for listening to the episode, and I'll see you guys next week.